Big moves are happening in the crypto space today. Bitcoin, Solana, XRP, and even lower cap altcoins are making headlines. If you're invested in crypto, you won't want to miss this breakdown. We'll start with Bitcoin and the highly anticipated FOMC meeting. Breaking news: the Federal Reserve has decided to hold interest rates at 4.5%. No changes, just as the market predicted. And guess what? Bitcoin responded with a rally, both leading into and following the announcement. Why? Because stability breeds confidence. The market had already priced in no rate changes. So when that expectation was met, investors felt reassured. Looking ahead to 2025, the Fed has hinted at 2 potential rate cuts. However, confidence in that forecast is shaky. Why? The ongoing economic uncertainty, coupled with the unpredictable dynamic between President Donald Trump and Fed Chair Jerome Powell, leaves many wondering if more than 2 cuts will be necessary before year-end. Even Powell himself remains uncertain.
How much of it is tariff? So let me say that it is going to be very difficult to have a precise assessment of how much of inflation is coming from tariffs and from other, and that's already the case.
Another catalyst for Bitcoin's rally wasn't just the Fed's rate decision, but Powell's comments on the balance sheet. He announced that, starting in April, the Fed will slow the pace of its securities holdings decline, reducing the monthly redemption cap on Treasury securities from $25 billion to $5 billion. This is a major signal that we're in the final stretch before the Fed ends its quantitative tightening policy, paving the way for eventual quantitative easing. For context, last May, the cap was $60 billion, later reduced to $25 billion, and soon it will drop to just $5 billion per month. This is a bullish signal for risk assets like Bitcoin as we inch closer to a looser monetary policy. As always, I'll be tracking Bitcoin's movements and keeping you updated. Huge news for XRP. The SEC has officially dropped its lawsuit against Ripple.
As many of you know, just over 4 years ago, the United States SEC filed its lawsuit against Ripple. I'm finally able to announce that this case has ended. It's over.
Following this announcement, XRP saw an immediate price surge of over 10%, now trading at $2.50 per coin. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse went on Bloomberg to discuss what's next for the company and XRP holders. But the big question remains: can XRP sustain this rally and break through key resistance levels?
The SEC has abandoned their appeal. And so they filed suit in December of 2020. We won on the key parts of the case in the summer of 23. Judge Torres made a ruling that XRP in and of itself was not a security. That's almost a verbatim quote. The SEC filed an appeal about 8 months ago, and what they've now agreed is that they're going to drop that appeal. We still have a cross appeal pending, and so we go from being defendant really to plaintiff. So we now are in the driver's seat to determine how we want to proceed.
Are you dropping it?
We're going to see. It feels a lot better to be on the offense than the defense. You know, 4 years, we spent over $150 million defending that case, not just for Ripple, but for the whole industry. I think it was really important that this SEC, the Gensler SEC, was really trying to bully and continue lawfare, filing lawsuits and lawsuits and lawsuits against crypto companies. That's over now, and I think that's great for the U.S. crypto industry and, frankly, great for crypto at large.
For those looking to trade the XRP breakout, here's what you should consider. First, XRP has repeatedly found strong demand in this zone throughout 2025. However, the price has also struggled to break past a key downward trend line. The next move depends on whether XRP can push through this resistance. There are 2 main trading strategies here. If you're bullish, you can enter a long position now, setting a take profit target just below the breakout level. Once the breakout happens, consider taking partial profits while keeping some exposure in case the rally extends further. If you prefer to trade breakouts, set a limit order slightly above resistance, around 2.768. If the breakout is confirmed, your order will trigger, but don't forget to set a stop loss to manage risk. If you want to follow along with my trades, check the link below. Another major milestone: the first ever Solana ETFs in the US are set to debut tomorrow, March 20th. This follows previous Solana ETF launches in Brazil and Canada, but this is the first for the American market. However, before you get too excited, It's important to understand that these are futures ETFs, not spot ETFs. That means investors are simply trading Solana's price movements rather than actually purchasing the asset. The issuer, Volatility Shares LLC, is relatively unknown, unlike major players like BlackRock or ARK Invest. So while this is an important step toward mainstream adoption, don't expect significant price action from this ETF launch just yet. I'll always keep it real with you. If you're bullish on the intersection of AI and crypto, this one's for you. ChainGPT has officially partnered with Sonic Labs, formerly known as Phantom, a well-established L1 blockchain. This integration brings high-speed, AI-powered NFT generation, as well as seamless IDO, initial DEX offering, launches. With Sonic processing over 10,000 transactions per second, this is a huge step forward for developers and NFT creators looking for efficiency and scalability. Last month, Ando became the first RWA, real-world asset provider, to integrate with Mastercard's multi-token network. Now, we have a groundbreaking update. Ando is revolutionizing securities just like stablecoins did for the US dollar. Ando's tokenized US Treasury Fund will allow businesses to earn daily yield with 24/7 subscriptions and redemptions without needing stablecoins for settlements. This is a massive step toward bringing traditional finance into blockchain-based yield opportunities.
We've used many of the same principles from stablecoin design to inform what we've done here. It is no exaggeration to say that we believe that what stablecoins have done for the dollar, Ando Global Markets will do for securities. We believe that with the success of yield coins and the launch of Ando Global Markets, we're entering a new phase in financial markets. Unlike many, however, we don't believe that this new phase need operate outside of regulations, destroy incumbents, or fundamentally change the way markets operate. Instead, we believe that this phase represents the next stage in the evolution of financial markets, where the best of DeFi and the best of TradFi combine to create markets that are more transparent, more efficient, and more accessible. You might call it a foundational upgrade. We call it Wall Street 2.0.
Pay close attention to which Wall Street firms are choosing to work with Ando. This is just in. President Trump is set to speak at the Digital Asset Summit 2025 DAS in New York tomorrow, while Trump previously spoke at the Bitcoin conference in 2024. This marks the first time a sitting U.S. president will directly address a crypto event. This is a historic moment for the industry. With crypto gaining more political attention, staying informed has never been more important. That's why I bring you one must-watch video every single day. Hit subscribe so you never miss out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.